What is opportunity, and where does it come from? This is a topic that is worthy of exploration. We hear that word opportunity all the time. We hear it when it comes to the immigration of people into the Western world from other parts of the world. Many say that they come to the West for a better way of life and better opportunities. We also hear the word when it comes to migration within the Western countries. People seem to move based on the opportunity that they have for survival and quality of life. I suppose opportunity could be defined broadly. For the purpose of this talk, I will define opportunity as it pertains to some kind of pathway to improvement. So what creates the conditions for opportunity? And why is it that in some places people have access to opportunity and others do not? Oh, this, friend, is the golden question, and it's been a highly controversial question. We've been told by activists, liberals, and politicians that opportunity is based on access to money. Those who have no access, therefore, have no opportunity. So it seems to me that they have defined access to wealth as the key to having opportunity, which then allows for a better life. Now, this encompasses being able to attend a prestigious school or live in an affluent neighborhood. What we are talking about is the ability to have the best that life has to offer. It is believed that without the means, which is the money, there is no opportunity to achieve or go beyond slavish or hellish conditions. However, it must be understood that when it is said that there are no opportunities, what they mean is that overcoming life's adversities is impossible. In other words, whatever adversity that life offers is impossible for man to overcome. I've spoken to many people about this false belief, and what is truly shocking is that most people don't know that the impossible is really what has not yet been attempted or done. For you see, nothing is impossible. It just has not yet been deemed possible. My friends, most people don't want to be challenged. What they want is a life of ease and certainty. They want to know what every day will bring them. They want the security of shelter, food, and clothing. They have been told in the West that those things are a right. And there's a lot that I could say about that, because I actually don't believe that food, shelter, and clothing is a right. So, there are entitlements that all men must have access to, and if they don't, this is thought to be a moral evil or an injustice. Therefore, it is the moral obligation of those who have overcome obstacles and overcome feats to open the door to possibilities to those who are in need. This, you see, is said to be the right thing to do. Now, I don't say it's the wrong thing to do. What I take issue with is that it is forced upon men to do this. Men are not allowed to do what they think is right. They are told that they must provide opportunities to those who fail to provide for themselves. They fail because they were too lazy to try. In order to overcome adversity, one must better himself, and that's a lot of work. That's why there are so many poor people in the world. It's just too much work to create wealth, because it requires self-improvement before anything else. So they leave their motherland and immigrate to a place that they believe has an open door, a flood of opportunity that will allow them what is possible. The possibility to eat, drink, and live better than they had in their homeland. Men are lured from wastelands to the sea of prosperity, hoping to taste the water, even if just a sip. You see, the hopeless, those who won't create their own way, those who refuse to see that opportunity is everywhere, want to find the men who have accomplished what seemed impossible and have thus created opportunity. The impoverished, those who fail to do the work that allows for the generation of wealth and prosperity. You see, it is those men who benefit greatly. For you see, they didn't have to create anything, build anything, or die for anything. What once was the impossible, what once was a barren land, a place of poverty, is because of the spiritually, intellectually, and advanced men, now the land of opportunity. Friends, let's think critically. What is the difference between the third and the first world? And I think it's an interesting question, and I raised it with a friend recently. Now, before some of you start thinking about statistics or data, or even GDP percentages, I ask that you think about the type of people who inhabit the third world. We have to do this. We must do this without prejudice because, friends, it's necessary. When it comes to the third world, I want you to think about its condition. Think about why it doesn't have organized governments or systems in place to sustain law and order. Think about the culture, what it allows and disavows. Once you've done that, turn your attention to the Western civilization. Ask yourself why the world is trying like mad to get to America. What is the world fleeing? What do we have here that it doesn't? Friends, I always say this. The United States can't be that bad if people from all over the world are willing to risk their life to get here. So you might say to yourself, well, the reason why they're fleeing their motherland is because there's opportunity here. In the undeveloped Banana Republic, there is nothing but poverty and corruption. Now, if we're honest with ourselves, we all know that these arguments presented here are true. However, what I really want you to think about is the how and the why. I'm told that in many third world countries, they believe that the reason for their issues, their impoverishment and their corruption, is due to the government. They simply blame the government for everything. And it's no surprise. The West also blames the government for everything. Everybody plays the blame game because no one wants to look to themselves. However, we must understand where things really come from. Intellectually sound arguments can only be made when there is an understanding of where things come from. 100% of the problems in the third world are that of the people who inhabit the country. Or those countries, I should say. Opportunity presents itself only to those who love liberty and have a reverence for God and universal law. You see, advancement, and I'm not talking about technological advancement, but moral and spiritual advancement, create opportunity. Moral and spiritual advancement give man the courage to overcome what only seems to be an impediment. You see, there is a fearlessness, a boldness to take on life. Free men are courageous men. They don't cower to the government. They don't cower to anybody. They do what they feel is right, and they, most importantly, do what they feel is necessary. But men who live subjugated, subservient to the corrupt and depraved, are diminished souls who are seeking to feed off of the gifted, stronger, and intellectually sound. The world needs to be free, and the world needs to be brave, because this is the culture that provides for liberty and strength. What culture is it? It is the culture of the free world. The West is in fact sustaining the rest of the world. The more advanced civilizations are keeping the demoralized, inhumane, and lawless men at bay. Friends, without the high culture, the third world would have perished by its own doing many moons ago, and it would have plunged the land masses that it occupies off of the map. We can't deny this. We have to stop denying this. You see, that's the controversy here. People don't want to deal with the fact that all is not equal. Some are higher, some are lower, some are dark, some are light. That's what this is, that's what life is, that's what nature is. If you possess any kind of common sense, you would know clearly that If third world cultures were fruitful, prosperous, I'm saying, the people would not be fleeing their lands. Opportunity would be prevalent, and wealth and prosperity would serve as a tool to uplift their people. Friends, the opportunity that they flee their lands in search of cannot be cultivated on their own soil because they have not yet evolved themselves beyond primitive. That's what civility is, my friends. It is the evolution of mankind beyond primitivism. If you're not sure what I mean by this and you want more detail, please watch my video, Man versus the Beast. Don't get me wrong, primitive people exist in pockets of the free world as well. And those people also complain of poverty and lack of opportunity. But my message here doesn't change. I say the same to them as I would to the foreigner and the sojourner in the free world. Friends, if you like this content and you want more, please like, follow, or subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me. And you can also subscribe to the podcast, The Lecture Center, on Apple Podcasts. The time is now.